Okay, so today it is Memorial Day. That's why I was sort of scratching my head thinking like, are we doing positivity? I was like, yes, absolutely. So um in a few days on June 6th, it'll be the anniversary of D-Day. And I don't know, I'm not really like a big military guy and full transparency. It's not necessarily my culture. And at the same time, I've learned so much having Adam as my partner in this process with CIT clinics. He was a medic in Afghanistan and had some pretty big experiences there. And we also work a lot with veterans doing this work. And so I think it really is important to just acknowledge how much of the life that we get to live in this part of the world in this time of history, how much of that is due to the sacrifices that so many people made in order to allow us to have these freedoms and this ability to work in this as we're noticing this very imperfect democracy that we're grappling with these days. So here's a quote: "Never was so much owed by so many to so few." And this is Winston Churchill, who himself is a pretty controversial figure, but I think it's a really appropriate, quote for Memorial Day. And I think the theme of Memorial Day is this idea of remembrance. This is a picture of the cemetery in northern France, and I mean, it's just mind-boggling to look at. These are 17, 20, 22-year-old kids. And then, being German, obviously I also have, elements of gosh, what must it have been like being on the other side, seeing this, this wave of, um, you know, armor and insanity coming our way. And it was just a god awful situation for everyone involved. And yet for some reason, I guess it was very necessary at that time and place in history to have that experience. And again, just emphasizing, like, I think the point of remembrance is taking a moment to really appreciate that here we are and we get to benefit from the craziness that happened way back when. I mean, there are lots of places on planet Earth right here, right now, where being gay is a death sentence, let alone, reason to be ostracized and hurt physically and emotionally. Having the wrong religious belief, you know, is cause for the same kind of thing. And I think for the most part, again, we're just so lucky where we live that, as imperfect as it is, the most part we get to go out there and express ourselves and live the lives that we want. And so I think that the theme for today is to just take a step back and use this idea of remembrance as a tool to hopefully make our life in the present more, that sense of preciousness or that appreciation for what we do have, just make it more vibrant and more front and center in our lives. So, remembering what? Well, there are people that we've met, some have passed, some have exited our lives for whatever reasons. And, maybe spending some time contemplating how we've benefited from those experiences. And in many ways, this meditation today is sort of it's like a potpourri of, forgiveness, gratitude, presence, and just, thinking about the future and how do I, a bit of alchemy. How do I turn some of these challenging memories into something positive moving forwards? Relationships that have come and gone. It's, yeah, be they lovers, intimate relationships, marriages, work colleagues, neighbors, lots of, and then experiences. And then last, that looms large for me, is always this sense of childhood self. So remembering, so I'll speak for myself, remembering that little boy that was just struggling and pretty strung out and felt very unsafe and unseen. And Just an appreciation for that little kid still lives in me to this day and is a huge influence on how I live my life and how I want to do things differently. Certainly, how I want to parent my kids, and then ultimately also how I want to reparent myself. So anyway, I think there's an opportunity in this idea of remembrance. So okay, so let's actually do that. So close your eyes. And maybe take a couple deep, slow breaths. Just sync up body and mind in the present moment. Noticing where your body is in time and space right now. So contact with the ground, sitting in the chair, taking up physical space. Noticing the body breathing. We are literally imbibing our environment every moment of the day. We breathe it in, we eat, we drink. We are absolutely part of the physical environment every moment. So just really noticing how breath allows us to connect with that truth. And then opening the mind up to some memories. Just start sort of on a high level and just scan your memory for people that are no longer in your life, who left a mark of some sort. Maybe it wasn't all positive. Maybe there were only a few positive aspects to some of these people that are no longer in your life. Leaning into this memory and just appreciating that who you are right now in this moment was largely influenced by these people, for better or for worse. And this is what I meant earlier when I said this meditation is it's a little part dash of forgiveness, dash of gratitude, maybe that they're no longer in your life or that they have moved on, or maybe you really miss them. You're so appreciative of their influence on your life. Opening up to all of it. People are complex and nuanced. It's always a little bit messy, especially with there's unfinished business that we had with them, but we do the best we can with their memory and again try to transmute that into something positive in this moment. Now shifting to a memory or more of important relationships. So maybe it was an intimate romantic relationship that is no longer there. Maybe you're still in touch with that person, or maybe they're completely gone out of your life. Relationships with parents and siblings, colleagues at work, past jobs, past careers. Again, remembrance of what those relationships that are now long in the past, how they've helped shape who you are in this moment. And then last but certainly not least in this meditation, bring to mind an image of yourself as a young child, when you were 5 or 7 or 10. Those days are long gone, and yet they're totally present. We still are those little beings, innocent, resilient, just taking a moment to connect with remembrance. So appreciation for that resilient little kid making it through the chaos of childhood and family life and society, surviving. And the point of remembrance is acknowledgement of that survival and that resilience to get to this point in our lives where we can now make choices about how we want to reparent those young parts of ourselves and how we want to use those memories, painful or positive, to contribute to the people we love this point in our lives. And take a deep breath in. Slow exhale. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and deep inhale. Slow exhale. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and open your eyes. Come on back to the session. Um, I hope this was helpful. I hope it ties into Memorial Day and this idea of remembrance, being an opportunity to just self-reflect and figure out, how do I use those past people experiences and certainly my childhood experiences and relationships? How do I use that as a force for good now? The appreciation of what all that stuff that transpired. So anyway, hope that's helpful. I'll stick around for a few more minutes if anyone wants to chat. Otherwise, have an awesome day, everyone.